Jennifer stared at her phone, shaking. Her mother had just texted, "How was your first night?" She could answer, she could call, she could cry to someone. But the oath echoed in her head, "If you tell anyone, you will run mad." Behind her, Vincent lay facing the wall, silent. And in that hotel room, Jennifer understood something terrifying. She didn't just marry a man with a secret. She married a trap.
Hi besties, tonight's story is about a perfect man with a hidden secret and the kind of oath that turns a marriage into a prison. If you've ever ignored a red flag because of love, then this is for you.
Vincent was the kind of man that made heads turn, even when people tried to act like they were not looking. He was tall, well-built, and always looked clean. Not the loud, showy kind of handsome. His own was calm, confident, and sharp. The type that made women adjust their hair without knowing why. Even men noticed it. Some admired him, some envied him. Some just watched him like he was a puzzle. At 45, Vincent still looked like a man in his 30s. His smile was easy. His voice was steady. And when he spoke, people listened. He ran his business with focus, like a man chasing something bigger than money. That was the first thing people respected about him. If he wasn't in his shop, he was on the road to supply goods. If he wasn't on the road, he was on his phone settling payments. If he wasn't doing that, he was planning his next move. But the thing that confused everyone was simple. Vincent had no woman, no girlfriend, no casual person, no "let's see how it goes." Nothing. People tried to understand it, but it didn't make sense. With that face, women were everywhere around him. Some came boldly, smiling like they already owned his heart. Others sent friends to speak for them. Some would come to his shop and pretend they wanted to buy something, then begin to ask personal questions. "Are you married? Do you have someone? Why are you always alone?" Vincent always answered with the same calm energy. A polite smile, a short response. Then he would return to what he was doing. He was never rude. He was never harsh. But he never opened any door either. After a while, it became a full discussion topic. Some people said, "He's just careful. He wants the perfect woman." Others said, "Maybe he has been hurt before." Some said, "Maybe he is hiding something." And the worst ones would whisper, "Maybe he doesn't even like women at all." Vincent ignored all of them. He didn't argue. He didn't explain. He just worked. But his family did not ignore it. His mother started pressing him, not joking at all. His sister joined. His cousins joined. Even his close friends began to talk like they were planning an intervention. One evening, his friend, Emeka, cornered him after work. "Vincent, you're too old for this lifestyle," Emeka said. "This thing you're doing, you will regret it." Vincent laughed. "Regret what? Peace." Emeka shook his head. "This is not peace, it's hiding." That word stayed with Vincent. That night, alone in his room, Vincent lay on his bed and stared at the ceiling. Outside, the street was quiet. But inside his head, the voices were loud. Everybody had an opinion about his life. Everybody was dragging him like a topic on radio. For the first time, Vincent didn't feel angry. He felt tired, and in that tiredness he finally said to himself, "Fine, I will try." Not because he needed love, but because he wanted the noise to stop. And that small decision was where his real problem began. His sister, Ifeoma, introduced him to someone she trusts from church, Jennifer. Ifeoma describes Jennifer as sensible, respectful, and not the type to use a man. Vincent agrees to meet her, but sets a clear boundary. No pressure. If he doesn't like her, he will walk away. They meet at a quiet eatery. Vincent arrives early. Jennifer arrives shortly after. Vincent is struck by her beauty, but more importantly by how she carries herself. Jennifer is calm, neat, soft-spoken, and mature. She speaks intelligently, listens well, and does not try too hard to impress him. This makes Vincent relax and take her seriously. Jennifer also notices Vincent is different from men she has met before. He does not show off, use empty sweet talk, or try to touch her inappropriately. He is respectful, direct, and unusually careful. After the meeting, Vincent sends a simple message to check that she got home safely. Their communication continues in a steady, thoughtful way. Over the next weeks, Vincent calls, checks on her, and shows care through small acts of support. Jennifer begins to feel safe around him, and Vincent begins to enjoy her company. However, one unusual pattern becomes clear. Vincent does not flirt much. He does not make suggestive jokes. He does not push for anything physical, not even small signs of intimacy. At first, Jennifer interprets it as discipline and good character. But beneath that calm surface, something unspoken is present. The closer Jennifer gets, the more that hidden issue quietly waits, like a shadow that has not yet stepped into the light. By the third month, Jennifer could no longer pretend it didn't matter. At first, she told herself, maybe he's just being respectful. Some men rushed things. Vincent didn't. That felt rare, even comforting. She even bragged about it once to her close friend, joking that she had finally met a man with self-control. But time passed, and nothing changed. Vincent would visit. They would talk for hours. He would hold the car door for her. He would ask about her day and actually listen. He remembered small things she mentioned. He supported her when she was stressed. He made her feel cared for. Yet, he never crossed that line. No wandering hands, no sneaky, accidental touches, no pressure, no late-night arguments about proof of love. Not even the kind of bold flirting that makes your heart race. It started to confuse Jennifer. One evening, after Vincent dropped her off, she stood in her room and stared at her phone like it would explain him. She wasn't angry. She was just unsettled. Because every woman knows something. When a man likes you, he shows it in different ways. Vincent showed love, yes, but he acted like a man who had locked one part of himself with a padlock. Jennifer tried to ignore it until her mind began to manufacture fears. What if he doesn't desire me? What if he has someone else? What if he can't? Those thoughts frightened her because Vincent looked perfect on the outside. Too perfect. And in Jennifer's experience, too perfect usually meant something was hiding. So she decided to ask. It happened on a quiet Saturday. They were seated in Vincent's car outside her gate, the engine off, the night calm. Vincent was telling her about a business deal that almost went wrong, and Jennifer smiled, but her mind wasn't there. "Vincent," she said softly. He turned to her. "Yes?" Jennifer swallowed. Her voice came out careful. "Can I ask you something, and please don't be offended?" Vincent's face didn't change. "Go on." She looked down at her hands. "We've been together for months. You're kind to me, you're serious, you care. But you've never tried anything. Not once. Is there a reason?" For a moment, Vincent didn't answer. The silence stretched long enough to make Jennifer regret speaking. Then he sighed, like a man opening a door he didn't like opening. "I made a vow," he said. Jennifer looked up. "A vow?" Vincent nodded. "To God, I promised I would never have intercourse with any woman except my wife. Jennifer blinked. That's it? Vincent's eyes held hers. That's it. Jennifer felt a rush of emotion that surprised her. Relief first, then admiration, then something like pride. Because in a world where men begged and pushed and lied, Vincent was telling her he had self-control, not because he was weak, but because he had chosen restraint. Jennifer smiled slowly. Vincent, that's rare. Vincent reached out and lightly touched her fingers, gentle and brief. I'm not trying to play you, Jennifer. I'm serious about you. That night, Jennifer went inside feeling lighter. To her, Vincent wasn't strange anymore. He was too good to lose. And that was exactly why she didn't see the real danger coming. After Jennifer learns about Vincent's vow to abstain until marriage, the relationship becomes more serious and moves faster. Jennifer now sees Vincent as rare and trustworthy, and she becomes more emotionally committed. Vincent also becomes more intentional, calling more often, visiting more, and speaking about their future with certainty. During a calm dinner, Vincent tells Jennifer directly that he wants to marry her. Jennifer is happy and ready to accept, but Vincent says there is something she must understand before they move forward. Vincent introduces his only condition for marriage: no third party. He insists that any problem they have must be settled between the two of them. He doesn't want Jennifer running to friends, parents, church members, or anyone outside the marriage. He argues that outsiders destroy marriages by spreading small misunderstandings until the issue becomes bigger than it should be. Jennifer hesitates. She understands the need for privacy, but she also knows that marriage can become difficult, and sometimes people need wise counsel. She becomes uncomfortable when Vincent's demand begins to sound like something that must be sealed or sworn. Jennifer expresses concern that swearing an oath is not in line with Christian faith. Vincent quickly softens the language and calls it an agreement or covenant, claiming it is simply a serious commitment between them. He insists that ordinary words are too easy to break, and he wants something stronger. Jennifer feels pressured. She does not want to lose Vincent, especially because she sees him as a perfect partner and feels the weight of being the lucky one. She also imagines how happy her family will be if she marries him. So, even though she is not fully comfortable, she agrees to do it Vincent's way. Vincent didn't waste time after Jennifer agreed. 2 days later, he called her and said, "Come to my place. There's something I want us to do before we fix our wedding date." Jennifer's stomach tightened. She already guessed what it was, but she still came, praying in her heart that it would be simple. Vincent welcomed her warmly. They sat in his sitting room, and he spoke gently at first, like a man doing something for peace. Then he stood up, went into his room, and returned with a small object in his palm. It was a piece of carved wood, dark brown and rough, tied tightly with a red cloth. The red looked old, like it had been soaked in something before. The wood itself had strange lines, like symbols. Jennifer's eyes widened. "Vincent, what is that?" Vincent kept his face calm. "It's a charm." Jennifer's throat went dry. "Charm?" "Vincent, no. This is not Christianity." Vincent stepped closer, lowering his voice. "Jennifer, listen. This is just to show seriousness. My father taught me something. Some agreements must have weight." Jennifer shook her head, fear and confusion mixing together. "But why this? Why not just pray?" Vincent held the wood tighter. He did not tell her the truth. He did not tell her he made it himself. He did not tell her it was supposed to be fake, just to scare her into never exposing him. He wanted Jennifer to believe it was real, because fear was stronger than love. And Jennifer, seeing the object, believed. They stood facing each other. Vincent spoke first, slowly, like he was reading from a script. "We swear that whatever happens in this marriage, we will never involve a third party." Jennifer's lips trembled, but she repeated it. Vincent continued, "If any of us breaks this oath and tells our issues to anyone, let madness strike the person." Jennifer hesitated, then repeated again, her voice shaking. The room went quiet after. Vincent tied the charm back with the red cloth and hid it away. He felt satisfied, but what Vincent didn't know was this. The moment Jennifer spoke those words with fear in her heart, something unseen answered. Because the wood was not ordinary anymore, not after that oath. Their wedding was beautiful. Families smiled, friends danced, people sprayed money and took pictures. Many women watched Jennifer with secret jealousy, like she had won a prize. Vincent looked calm and handsome beside her, the perfect groom. Even the elders praised him. "Jennifer, you have married gold," one auntie told her. Jennifer believed it. That night they left for their honeymoon. Jennifer entered the hotel room with mixed feelings, shy but happy. This was the man who had respected her body for months. This was the man who said he feared God. This was the man who made her feel safe. She expected their first night to be gentle, maybe awkward, but full of love. But something was wrong from the beginning. Vincent kissed her forehead, then moved away. He started talking too much, like someone trying to fill silence. He said he was tired. He said the journey had stressed him. He said they should rest first. Jennifer laughed softly. "Vincent, it's okay. We're married now." Vincent forced a smile. Yes. He went to the bathroom. He stayed long. When he returned, he looked like a man coming out of a meeting, not a man coming to his wife. Jennifer tried to move closer to ease the moment. Vincent stiffened, then quickly turned it into prayer. They prayed. They lay down, and still nothing happened. Jennifer waited. Vincent faced the wall. The next day, Jennifer thought maybe it was first-night nerves. She tried again, gently. Vincent tried too, but it ended in confusion, then silence. His body simply did not respond. On the third day, the truth became clear. Vincent was impotent. Jennifer sat on the edge of the bed, her chest tight, her throat burning. It felt like someone had pushed her into deep water without warning. She wanted to cry, to call her mother, to tell someone, anyone. But as her hand reached for her phone, her mind flashed back to the red cloth wood. "If any of you tells a third party, let madness strike the person." Fear grabbed her like a hand around the neck. Jennifer dropped the phone. She looked at Vincent. He couldn't meet her eyes. He just sat there, quiet like a man who had been waiting for this moment all along. In that hotel room, Jennifer realized two things at once. She had married a secret, and she had trapped herself with her own mouth. Her honeymoon ended, but her real nightmare had just begun. When they returned from the honeymoon, Jennifer forced a smile that hurt her face. People welcomed them with excitement. Neighbors asked, laughing, "Madam, how was honeymoon?" Jennifer would giggle and look away. Vincent would answer for her, sounding calm, sounding normal. Inside the house, the silence was different. Jennifer tried again in the first weeks, hoping the problem was temporary. Vincent avoided the topic with excuses. "I'm tired. Work is on my head." "Let's not rush things," Jennifer wanted to shout. She wanted to ask him why he didn't tell her before marriage. But each time anger rose, fear pushed it down. The oath sat in her mind like a loaded gun. So she swallowed it. Months passed, then 1 year. People started asking the question that always comes after a wedding. "Jennifer, when are we hearing good news?" At first, they asked softly with smiles. Jennifer would laugh and say, "God's time." Vincent would nod and add, "We are praying." But the questions became heavier. His mother began to bring herbs. His aunties began to bring prayer points. Church women began to lay hands on Jennifer's stomach like they owned it. Jennifer's pain was not only the childlessness, it was the injustice of it. Everyone looked at her, not Vincent. When Vincent's sister, Ifeoma, visited one day, she pulled Jennifer aside and whispered, "My dear, you need to take this serious. Men don't like barren women." Jennifer's ears rang. She wanted to scream, "Ask your brother, ask him," but she only smiled weakly. In the second year, insults entered the conversation. Some people stopped calling her Jennifer. They started calling her that woman. Some said she used juju to catch Vincent, that God was punishing her. Some advised Vincent quietly to marry a second wife. Jennifer would go into the bathroom and cry without sound. Vincent acted like the pressure was hurting him too, but he never opened his mouth to save her. Instead, he enjoyed the respect of being seen as the patient husband. By the third year, Jennifer's love had changed. It wasn't love anymore. It was endurance. She felt trapped in a marriage that had no intimacy, no honesty, and no escape. And the worst part was this. The one truth that could free her was the one truth she feared to speak. So she carried it alone, until her mind began to search for another way out. By the third year, Jennifer stopped praying for change, not because she stopped believing in God, but because hope began to feel like a joke. Every day looked the same. Vincent left for work. Jennifer stayed home. At night, they slept like roommates, 2 bodies, 1 bed, 0 closeness. Her heart became heavy with questions. Why did he marry me? Why didn't he tell me the truth? Was I just a cover? Sometimes she would stand in front of the mirror and stare at herself like she was watching a stranger. She was still young, still beautiful, still full of life. Yet she was living like a widow with a living husband. The pressure outside became worse. People now spoke to her with pity or sarcasm. "Don't worry, God will do it. Maybe you should go and check yourself. Maybe you're the problem." Jennifer would smile and nod, and inside her something would break again. One night she sat alone in the sitting room while Vincent slept. The house was quiet. The only sound was the ticking of the wall clock, steady and cruel. Her mind went back to the oath. No third party. No exposing their issues. Madness for whoever talks. Jennifer's chest tightened as usual, but this time she didn't stop at fear. She replayed the exact words slowly, like someone studying a contract. Then she noticed something. The oath talked about telling people their issues. It never talked about cheating. It never said, "Do not sleep with another person." It never included infidelity. Jennifer's eyes widened slightly, like a person who had just found an open door in a locked room. At first, she felt guilty. Her heart beat fast. She even whispered, "God forgive me," because she knew what she was thinking. But the guilt didn't last long, not when she remembered the humiliation, not when she remembered the loneliness, not when she remembered that Vincent had trapped her with deception. A strange relief entered her body, small but real. If she couldn't talk, If she couldn't leave, then she could at least feel alive again. Jennifer didn't start quickly. She tested the idea in her mind for days, weeks. Then, one afternoon, a man at a supermarket smiled at her and said, "Madam, you're too fine." Jennifer should have ignored him. Instead, she smiled back. That smile was the first step. And once Jennifer stepped into that path, she didn't walk like someone hiding. She walked like someone who had nothing left to lose. Jennifer's affair started quietly, then grew bold. At first, she hid it like a secret that could kill her. She deleted messages. She lied about where she was going. She wore calm faces and came back home acting normal. But something changed with time. The guilt reduced, the fear reduced, and anger replaced them. Jennifer began to look at Vincent with cold eyes. Sometimes she would even wonder if he noticed her pain at all. He still acted like everything was fine, like he hadn't stolen 3 years from her life. So Jennifer stopped caring. She stopped hiding. Men began to call her. Some would drop her off near the house. Once, one even walked her to the gate, laughing like he belonged there. Vincent noticed. At first, he tried to act like he didn't see it. He swallowed it like Jennifer had swallowed her own suffering. Maybe he thought it would pass. Maybe he believed he deserved it. Maybe he was afraid of what would happen if he opened his mouth. But the day Jennifer brought a man home, Vincent snapped. It was evening. Vincent returned from work and met a strange car in front of his compound. Before he could process it, Jennifer stepped out, smiling, fixing her hair. A man followed behind her like he was escorting his woman. Vincent's head went hot. "Jennifer," he barked. Jennifer looked at him and didn't flinch. "Good evening," she said, like nothing happened. That disrespect broke Vincent's final patience. That night he didn't shout much. He didn't beat her. He didn't even argue long. He just stood up, wore his slippers, and said, "I'm going to your parents." Jennifer's heart skipped, not because she loved him, but because her mind remembered the oath. Vincent didn't. He drove straight to Jennifer's family house, angry and confident, ready to disgrace her. When he arrived, Jennifer's father and mother listened in shock as Vincent spoke. "She has been sleeping around. She brings men home. She has turned me into a laughing stock." He was talking, pointing, pouring out everything. Then, as he stood up to leave, it happened. Vincent's eyes rolled slightly. His mouth opened, but the words that came out were not the words of a normal man. He started laughing, then crying, then laughing again. Jennifer's father jumped up. "Vincent, what is wrong with you?" Vincent began to speak fast like a radio that couldn't be turned off. His voice sounded like confession, like secrets spilling out without permission. He staggered toward the door, shouting strange things. Jennifer's mother screamed. Young men rushed in to hold him before he ran into the street. And as they struggled to control him, one truth became clear. Something had answered that oath, and it had chosen Vincent as its first public victim. The sitting room in Jennifer's parents' house became chaos. Vincent was shaking, laughing, crying, talking fast, like his mouth had been hijacked. 2 young men held him down, but he kept struggling as if something inside him wanted to run into the street and announce everything. Jennifer's father stood over him. "Vincent, what is wrong with you?" Vincent's head snapped up. His eyes looked wild, yet somehow aware. Then he shouted words that made everyone freeze. "No third party," he yelled. "We swore it. We swore it." Jennifer's mother blinked. "Swore what?" Vincent began to speak like a man confessing under force. "I made it," he cried. "I carved it myself. That wood. I tied it with red cloth. I only wanted to scare her. I wanted her to fear talking to anyone." Jennifer's parents stared at each other. Confusion turned to fear. Vincent kept going, voice breaking. "I thought it was fake. I thought it was just drama." But the moment she repeated those words, something entered it. Something accepted it. His body jerked again. He laughed like it was funny, then suddenly screamed like it was pain. "I trapped her mouth," he shouted. "I trapped myself too." Jennifer's father's face changed. "Why would you do that?" Vincent's voice dropped, then rose again like thunder. "Because I had a secret. I was hiding it. I knew I couldn't. I knew I was not able as a man." That was when Jennifer's mother screamed. It was not the scream of anger. It was the scream of someone hearing something too heavy to carry. People outside had gathered. Someone ran to call Vincent's parents. Within minutes, Vincent's mother arrived crying, his father looking confused and ashamed. They stepped into the sitting room and met their son rolling on the floor, confessing like a man whose tongue had been turned into a public microphone. "Hold him," Vincent's mother cried. "Hold him." Vincent turned to his parents and shouted, "You pressured me. You told me to marry. Now see." Jennifer arrived shortly after, also called in the confusion. The moment she entered and heard Vincent shouting, her knees almost gave way. She stood there, tears dropping, because she knew exactly what had happened. The oath Vincent created as a fake threat had become a real covenant. Not because the wood was powerful at first, but because fear, words, and intention gave it life. And once it became real in the spirit, it began to demand payment. That night, after Vincent was taken home and the crowd finally reduced, Jennifer did something she had never done before. She chose herself. Before dawn, she found the red cloth wood where Vincent hid it. Her hands shook, but she took it to a man of God. He prayed, broke the covenant, and burned the charm to ashes. The moment it turned to ash, Vincent's madness stopped. He recovered, but his life never returned to normal. The secret was out. The respect was gone. Jennifer left. Later, she married another good man and had children. And Vincent remained as a warning people would mention in low voices. Some lies are planted as jokes, but they grow teeth when darkness accepts them. Vincent's biggest mistake was not his condition, it was his deception. Impotency is a real issue and it can happen to anyone. It does not make someone evil, and it does not remove their value as a human being. But hiding it, marrying someone under false hopes, then using fear and spiritual threats to silence them, turns a private struggle into cruelty. The moral is this: a medical or personal challenge should never become a weapon. If you're struggling, get help, not control. Honesty is cheaper than shame. The truth may be painful, but lies are more expensive and they always collect interest. Marriage is not a hiding place. You don't solve impotence by marrying a good woman. You solve it by seeking real support, medical, emotional, and spiritual, with openness. Silencing your spouse is abuse dressed as privacy. Anyone who forbids you from speaking, seeking counsel, or getting help is protecting a secret, not protecting love. Should Vincent have told Jennifer before marriage, even if it meant losing her? If you discovered this on your honeymoon, what would you do first? Pray, confront, tell family, seek counseling, or leave? Is no third party ever a healthy rule, or is it usually a red flag? Do you think Vincent feared shame more than he loved Jennifer?
Besties, if you're watching and you have ever felt trapped by silence in a relationship, type "no more secrets" in the comments below and tell me, who was more wrong? Was it Vincent or Jennifer? And tell me why. If the story actually reminds you of someone's situation, share it below. One share can save someone's years of quiet suffering. And if you want the next story of African Tales by ChiNwa, please subscribe and turn on notifications because next one is even more interesting and darker. Till next time, see you.